Howdy there, Mr. Sutton here, bringing you the IM3 Honors 1-1 Part 2 homework solutions on domain, range, and functions. For number 9, we need to evaluate this function on the graph here at the following values. So we'll start with f of -3. So we look up the x value, -3, and the y value that goes with that on the graph is +2. Then we're doing f of 5. So let's see, we're over here at 5. The y value there is 0. At f of 6, that's right here, the y value there is, open dot. That means undefined. And it would be the same thing if you asked me, for example, for f of 8, if the graph isn't even there at all, open dot or not, it's undefined. Looking back at f of -7 now, here was -5, here is -7. The y value down there is -2. And that's it for this one. For number 10, we need to find f of -2, 5, and 3 on this graph-defined function. F of -2, that's the y value when x is -2, so that's going to be the y value 1 right there. And at f of 5, we're going, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this 5? Down here, that is a y value of, it looks like, -6. And then finally, f of 3, we're going back a little bit to this dot right here. That's going to be 2 for the y value. For number 11, we're given the function f of x equals 3x plus 2, and we need to plug a few things in. For part A, we're doing f of 8, so we're going to plug 8 in for x. That's 3 times 8 plus 2, so that'll be 24 plus 2, which is 26. For part B, we're doing f of y squared, so this just tells you what you're replacing x with here. It might be another letter, that's okay. So we're going to write 3 times y squared plus 2. And there's nothing else we can do to simplify that. We don't have to solve for y or anything like that. So we're just done with this one. For number 12, we've got the function f of x equals x squared. Seems innocent enough. We want to start with f of -3. And be careful when you're doing this. You do need to put this inside a parentheses before you square it. Because if you have -3 squared, that's -3 times itself, which is 9. If you had a negative and then a 3 squared with no parentheses, you would square the 3 and then get a -9. So they're different things. Be careful. On part B, we want to plug in 2b into this expression. So this is going to be 2b, the whole thing squared. And when you're squaring things that are being multiplied, everything gets squared. So we have a 4 and a b squared. And then for number 14, we're given the function g of x equals -4x minus 7, and we just have to basically plug in -2x to this function and then match it with one of the answer choices. So this will be -4 times -2x in a parentheses, all of that minus 7. -4 times -2x, that'll be 8x. We still have a minus 7 there, and that matches answer choice A. For number 15, we're given a graph of the function g, and we want to figure out which of these things has to be true. So the first thing is g of -3 equals 2. So if I plug in -3 on the x values, which is right here, do I get a y value back of 2? Well, this is the y value 2, so that is true. Next, g of 2 equals 3. So if I go to 2 for the x values, is the y value 3? Nope, here's 3. Here's where the function actually is. That is false. And then last one, g of 1/2 equals g of 2. Well, 1/2, here's the x value for 1/2, and that gives us a value of 2. And now if we plug in 2 for the x value, that also gives us a value of 2. They're on the same horizontal line. So that is true. So 1 and 3 are the true statements, giving us answer choice C. For number 16, this table here is giving us some values of a quadratic function, which is just say it just has an x squared in there. We want to know which of the following of these functions here could represent this table. So probably the easiest way to do this is to just start plugging x values into these various functions until either they all work or one of them doesn't work and we can eliminate the answer choice. So we'll start with A. We plug in the x value 0. We do get back 5. Plugging in 1, we get back 6, which immediately clashes with what we're supposed to get back. So let's try the next function now. If we plug in 0, we get back 1. 0 squared plus 1. That's already wrong, so we move on to choice C. Plug 0 in here, we get negative 5 back. That is already wrong. So that moves us to choice D. You could pick D by process of elimination, but let's just do it out to make sure. So we plug in 0, that's 2 times 0 squared plus 5 is 5. 2 times 1 squared plus 5 is 7. 2 times 2 squared, well, that's 8 plus 5 is 13. And finally, 2 times 3 squared, that's 2 times 9 or 18, plus 5 is 23. So choice D definitely is the answer.